and thank you for joining me for another episode of Throwback Thursday. My series of Throwback Thursday videos, if you are new here to my channel, is where I pull out my retired stash and I create two projects using that product. So give me a moment here. I'm just want to make sure everything is lined up and straight, and I got my laptop off to the side here so I can see everything on how it looks, and want things to be straight and not all wonky. So just bear with me for 1 second. There's this little delay that happens between what I see through my phone and what I see on the screen. Okay, I think we are good. Just yeah, it looks like we're good. So let's get started. So again, thank you for coming on and watching. Of course, this isn't being done live. I'm pre-recording this, so it's actually alive, but it's unlisted, and then I schedule it to post on Thursday morning. So, a couple of things that I do want to make mention. I'm recording this on Tuesday, August 5th. So, there are some things that actually happened today that I want to make you aware of. So, for today, um, demonstrators got to start to pre-order out of the new holiday mini catalog. They were also able to pre-order some new product that's in the online exclusives that will become available to customers in September. The same with the holiday mini catalog that will be in September as well. Uh, there were more items that were added to the last chance list. So on there is more product that was from previous catalogs or part of online exclusives that came out a couple of months ago. So there's some more items in regards to that were added. Some of the items that were in there, some of them were discounted or maybe discounted a little bit more. Also, one of the things that was added in there, if you remember Celebration that we had earlier this year, there were some products that were left over from that promotion. And so there's some of those items that have been added. Excuse me. There's some of those items that were added as well. So everything that's in that last chance list is while supplies last. So be sure to go and check that out. I do have a link in the description of the video. If you click on that, it will take you right to that last chance products on the website, and all the newer stuff that was added. You'll probably see that up near the top of the list of all the pictures of the stuff that's in there. Another thing that is going on too, there is a sale that's going on from today, August 5th, all the way through the 31st. I got to remember, I'm recording this on the 5th, but you're not seeing it until the 7th. So, but yeah, this sale has it started on August 5th. This is for the 2025 to 2027 in color products. So there are select products that have the new in colors that will be on sale for 15% off. In the description, there is a link as well that will take you directly to the page of those not last chance, but those in color items that are on sale. So it's not everything that contains these in colors. There are a couple of things that are excluded. For example, the what is it? The virtual album retreat that Stampin' Up recently did back in July. I think it was about mid-July, towards the end of July. That was you purchased the kit, and that was basically your registration to attend the virtual event. Well, that scrapbooking virtual album retreat kit, that is, even though it's got some of these new colors, it is not part of the sale. So it includes like the ink pads, the reinkers, the ribbons, designer series paper, embellishments. So if you haven't gotten any of the new in color stuff, go check it out and see if there's anything in there that you would like to get. So it's a perfect time because it is 15% off, and this will go on through the end of August. Another thing that, like I mentioned, the last chance products, it has been updated with more stuff. Some things also discounted as well. And again, there's that link in the description that will take you directly to where the last chance products are. Also, I want to make mention, because we're coming up to the deadline for the farmhouse florals. This is the August paper pumpkin kit. Uh, this particular kit will have a free stamp set in it. Now, if you are already a subscriber, if you want to increase the quantity of the kits that you get, or if you want to cancel or pause, um, all of that would need to be done by the 10th, which I believe the 10th is going to fall on a Sunday. So after the 10th, come the 11th, that's when they charge for the kit, and then they're going to start shipping them out. Also, in addition to this particular paper pumpkin kit, Stampin' Up! Also has a coordinating add-on, a set of dies. This is called the Circle of Seasons dies. These dies, they coordinate with the July, August, and September kits. You do not need the dies to complete the projects. This is just merely if you would like to do some alternative projects using the contents of the kit. Uh, the item number for this is 167277, and the price for it here in the US is $12. In order to get the add-ons or any refill kits or other kits that they may have in the Paper Pumpkin section of the online store, you do need to be a subscriber. So there are two different options you can go with as far as subscribing. You can do the prepaid option where you pay upfront for either the 3, 6, 9, or 12 months worth of the paper pumpkin kits, or you can do the monthly subscription where you're charged each month for the kit. And again, if you ever want to cancel, or if you want to pause a month or a couple of months, um, you know there's no you can do that, is what I'm trying to say. But everything that you do have to do by the 10th of the month, because again, if you try to, like, say, cancel this on the 11th of all, if you try, I can't talk, I'm so sorry. If you go to try and subscribe to this kit, or say cancel, or pause it or whatever, and you do it on August 11th, it's going to be too late. And again, the 10th falls on a Sunday, so I just wanted to make you aware of that. Again, I've also seen, well, not just me, but other demonstrators as well. We got to see the new holiday mini catalog, and there's lots of really cool items in there. We did have our pre-order start today, August 5th. So I did place my pre-order. I also have I have some catalogs also coming. So if you are here in the US and not working with another demonstrator and you would like a copy of either the holiday mini or the annual catalog or both of them, my email is in the description of this video. Just simply send me an email with your name and your mailing address, and I'd be more than happy to get one out into the mail with you, to you. Wow, I can't talk. I am so sorry. Um, I also want to make mention that I will be going live. Hold on. Hold on one second. Let me take a sip of water. I don't know why. This always happens when I go to do a video. So tomorrow night I will be going live right here on this channel to do my Friday Night Live. I will be featuring the Floral Impressions suite of product. That is an online exclusive product. So hope that you'll be able to come join me. I do have a lovely group of ladies that come on, and we have a very lively, friendly chat in the chat box. And then at the very end, I do a drawing where you can win one of the cards that I make that night. And it doesn't matter if you're here in the US or not. As far as cards go, I can mail them anywhere. It's just product. I can only send product to those who live here in the US. So that's kind of like the announcements I wanted to make before I got started. So let me bring in what it is that we're going to be working with. So with this suite, with this suite, there are some things that are still available, and then there are some things that have retired. So the first part I want to bring up is the designer series paper. This is the Perennial Lavender designer series paper. Now this isn't the packaging that it comes in. I did purchase these big 13 by 13 Ziploc bags. For me, I found that it's a lot easier to contain the paper and all the little scraps in, because I think this one had that cellophane that you had to cut open. So there's the designer series paper, and this is still a product that is available. I believe it is in the current annual catalog. Another thing that it was part of the suite that's still available, this is the Purple Fine Shimmer Gems. So these are still available. There's also the paper butterfly accents. Now these are retired, these are gone, so they're no longer available, but it was part of the suite. Also, this was considered a mega suite because it had two stamp and die bundles. So one of the bundles is Perennial Postage. So the stamp set just has the greetings in it, and then the coordinating dies were these postage looking postal stamp shaped dies. Now the dies are still available. The stamp set has retired. Then there's also the painted lavender bundle. So in this stamp set, it's just the floral images and some butterflies. And then there's the coordinating set of dies. Now, this bundle is retired. So this is gone, this is gone, and the paper butterflies. These are all things that you can no longer get, but the paper, the embellishments, and the perennial postage, of course, this light is glaring on it. So the perennial postage dies, the purple fine shimmer gems, and the designer series paper are still available, and they're not on the last chance list at the time of me filming this. So let me bring in all the stuff that I need here for our first card. So these are cards that if you have the catalog that they were in, these were in, I want to say, was it the 2024? Hold on. I did have, it was, this suite was in the 2024 January to April mini catalog. So the projects that I am making, these are actually ones I cased out of the catalog. Now, they are a little bit different. I looked at what supplies were needed and all that, and so I did change it up a little bit. So yeah. So for my card base, I have a piece of basic white thick, measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have a piece of that Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper. This is the full size of the card front, so it's 5.5 by 4.25. Out of a scrap piece of basic white, I got there's stuff stuck to it. I did die cut one of the Perennial Postage dies. Now this isn't the largest one. This is the one just smaller than that. Then out of a scrap piece of, this is Highland Heather. There is one die that will cut out both of these pieces, so I have that. And then I also die cut that out of Gorgeous Grape as well. I think I said that was Highland Heather. Then out of a scrap of basic white, I stamped both of these stems using shaded spruce ink, and then I die cut those. I did the die cutting ahead of time just to save some time. Then out of the postage dies, there is this one tag here, and then I did stamp this greeting ahead of time in Berry Burst ink. Now this particular greeting stamp set, it is the cling red rubber. So I stamped it first, so then that way when I die cut it, then my greeting would be like straight in that die. Then out of the designer series paper, there is a die for the butterfly. I did die cut that butterfly out of this designer series paper, so die cut that. And then ahead of time, I did stamp these. There's two different images here where I used a combination of Berry Burst and Highland Heather ink, and then also Gorgeous Grape on these, and then I die cut them. I'm so sorry. I don't know why my throat just feels very, very dry at the moment. Um, but I am going to show you how I stamp these. Okay, so let me start off by folding and burnishing my card base. I don't know why, for some reason, my throat just feels very scratchy for some reason. I do have my water here, so I think I'm going to take another sip of it. Okay, we should be good. All right, then I'm going to take my designer series paper and I'm going to bring in my liquid glue, and I'm going to add some all over the back. This is the Tombow multi-purpose glue that we do sell in our catalog. I just like to put it in a fine tip glue bottle. This glue does have a latex in it, so you don't need much of it to have your stuff stick very well. So I'm just going to line this up on my card base. Okay, it looks good. And then I'll just press that down. That's a very pretty pattern. Okay, then I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper, and on here I am going to do a little bit of ink blending on this piece. So I am going to bring in my Crumb Cake ink, and I'm also going to bring in fresh Freesia. Okay. You know, I was fine before I started recording this. I don't know why. I don't know why my throat feels like this. I said I apologize in advance. Okay, so I'm going to use like my small blending brush here. And you can do this with sponge daubers as well. And I'm going to lightly go around the outer edges of this die cut. So I just want something a little subtle. And I'm going to kind of keep the middle part of it. Try not to add any crumb cake to the middle of it, because I'm going to add the fresh Freesia. Okay. Now I didn't add blending brushes to my supplies. I think I'm going to have to go back and add that before I post this video. Okay, and then my fresh Freesia. Take the excess off, and then I'm going to do a light coating in the middle. So it's just very, very subtle. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe I'll add a little bit more. Okay, so there is our background piece. Okay, and then I'll set that aside. Then what I want to do on this scrap piece, I'm going to show you how I did this. So let me I'm going to get this stamp here and this one right here. Okay, got that one. And this one. All right, and let me get my box. And for this, you will need your sponge daubers. And then I'm going to bring in my gorgeous grape ink, Berry Burst, and Highland Heather. Sorry, I really don't know what is up. Okay, so I am going to take this stamp right here. I am going to take my Highland Heather and Berry Burst, and I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat. It's just basically a piece of foam. Being that this is a photopolymer stamp set, it doesn't have that foam cushioning on it, so to get a good stamped image, I'm going to put that on there. Okay, I'm going to take, now I don't have any more of the Stampin' Up! Sponge daubers, but I do have them linked in the description. I do have these. I got these in Hobby Lobby. So I got one I used for Highland Heather and the other for Berry Burst. I'm going to dab this into my Highland Heather. And I'm going to dab some ink. Kind of like up towards the top and about halfway down. I'll do this on top of the cardstock so you can see it a little bit better. So I'm going to add some of this here, and then some Berry Burst. Let me just kind of, so we don't have a really dark, harsh amount of Berry Burst, because it is a strong color. Okay, I'm going to breathe on this. And then I will stamp this down. And you can see there's like that really pretty variegated color between the two. And then for the more, the smaller piece, a little more detailed piece, I'm going to bring in Gorgeous Grape. And I will ink this up. Now, Gorgeous Grape, you can see, is a very dark color. So I'm going to stamp this off first. And then I'm going to stamp right over in the middle. And that's how I stamped that image. And then I just die cut it afterwards. Okay. Let me get these out of the way. Just wanted to show you how I did that. So let me move all this. Okay, I'll get the stamps out of the way. So I am going to build on this piece here before I put this piece on the card base. Okay. So I'll put this on here so I can see it a little bit better and you can see it better. Okay, so I am going to take, let's see, what do I want here? I'm going to take the smaller, because these are two different sizes. Got one that's bigger than the other. I'm going to take the smaller one. I'm going to bring in my liquid glue. And I'm going to add just a little bit in some of these plate spots here on here that isn't really fine. And then I'm going to add a little bit on the stem. And then I am going to add this, let's see, right about here. And just press that down. And then I will take, let's see, the smaller one. Yeah, we'll take the larger one. And a little bit on the stem just to kind of hold it down. And then I'll place this one right here. That's some watercolor paint on my nail. Okay, then I'm going to take my larger Gorgeous Grape one here. Now on these, the other thing you can do too is you can add an adhesive sheet to the back of the cardstock and then die cut it, and you have your adhesive on there. Right, and then this one, kind of bring it up a little bit more here. Press that down. And then our other Highland Heather one. Okay, and then this one we'll put right over here. Okay, and then let's see what I want to do. I will take and just kind of line up where I want to put these. I'm going to put that up there. And then this one will go, and it covers up a lot of what I put down too. All right, I'm going to bring in one of the stems here. And I'm going to put that right here. Just line it up under where I want to put that piece. Okay, and then for this piece, I'm going to bring in my dimensionals. So I got my larger ones and my mini. I will add two of the larger, one of the smaller ones. And I will add this then, lay it right over, like so. And then on this one, I'm going to put some dimensionals on this one as well. Okay. Let me line up where this one's going to go. And we'll put that one right there. And we'll add some glue. Okay, and then this will go right about here. Okay. And then this will lay right on top right there. All right. Could have spread those out a little bit so you can see them a little bit more in the background. Okay, then I'm going to take, let's see, let's kind of place this here because I think I need to trim down some of these stems. They're a little long. So we'll trim it like so. Okay, then I'm going to take this piece here. We're going to add some dimensionals to the back of this. I only got this piece in some crumb cake ink. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to center this onto my card base like so. Okay, then let's see, what do I want next? I'm going to take this little butterfly here, and we'll get a mini dimensional for this one, and I'll put it right here in the middle. And I'll stick this one right here. Then I'm going to bring in the Baker's Twine Essentials pack. So this color here is Crumb Cake. So since this is the color that's in the paper, I'm going to use this. You can also use linen thread if you want. And I'm going to create a bow. I want, you know, like larger loops on this because I want this to kind of come out from behind the greeting piece. And I gotta turn the fan on. Hold on. I usually think I can get through a video without needing that fan on, but then all of a sudden I start getting hot. All right. So I'll tie a bow. And like I said, I want larger loops here. Of course, when you got this twine on a roll, it does get all twisty. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, I can make this just a little bit smaller. Okay, then let me take my seal. I'll add some on the back here. And we'll attach my bow right behind it. And then I'm going to bring in some dimension. Whoops, we didn't want to take the paper off that. Bring in some dimensionals. And put one on this end, and then I'll put one right here to kind of reinforce that a little bit more. Okay, and then I will add this right here over my stems like so, and then I will bring in my snips that I have specifically for ribbon and twine, and I will trim this like so. And what I do with the back. Okay, and then for a final little bit of detail and touch on this, I want to bring in these purple fine shimmer gems, and these are in Berry Burst, Gorgeous Grape, and Highland Heather, and I am going to use one of each of these colors on here since we have all these colors in between our paper and what I stamped. So I'm going to add one of the larger Berry Burst right there, and then smaller Gorgeous Grape over here, and then Highland Heather right up here. Okay, so there is our first card. Again, I could have taken these die cuts and spread them out a little bit so that way you can see more of them. The sample card I did, you can see that I did spread it out a little bit more. So yeah, I should have spread those out just a little bit more so you can see them. All right, second card. So this too was a sample card that was in that catalog, and so this is a case of that one. This one, I think I changed a little bit of it up. So a lot of this I did die cut, and I die cut some pieces ahead of time to save some time. So my card base is Pretty Peacock, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have a piece of basic white. This is going to be for our greeting. This measures 3.5 by 1. Then I have some scraps. So the Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper. This is the larger postage die. This is one of the prints. So we have that. And then in this set of dies, you have some smaller postage shapes. So out of the Designer Series paper, I have the larger square. I have the smaller square. And then out of this print, which is the back side of this, one of the smaller ones. Piece of crumb cake, die cut out of one of the smaller ones. And then there's this one die here that just leaves an impression. And it's in the Perennial Postage die, so it's this one right here. So I did that ahead of time. And then out of one of the larger squares, this is a scrap piece of fresh Freesia. And then I had stamped one of the greetings in Highland Heather on fresh Freesia and then die cut it. And then there is one stamp and a die that will die cut these at the same time. So the two little butterflies, it's stamped on fresh Freesia with Highland Heather ink. And then this is one of the paper butterflies out of what is this? The paper butterfly accents. So it's this one right here. Okay, so let's kind of move this stuff out of the way, and we'll fold and burnish our card base. Okay, I'll set that aside. Actually, what I want to do is I want to take this piece here, and I want my dimensionals, and we're going to add some to the back of this. So we're going to be a little generous with this because we don't want this panel to be all saggy. So I'll add some up the middle, at the sides, and then I'll get in between here. Make sure these are stuck down. Yeah, come on. And then let's get these. Okay, and then we'll center this right on our card base. Like so. Okay, and then for all of these other little pieces, I am going to add some adhesive to the back of these. And let's see. And this one here. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my seal. And I'll add some. Oh, come on. Oops, hold on a second. Yeah. And we got the back of this one. Okay, so I'm going to take the crumb cake one, and I will add that right about here. And now I'm not going to press these down really hard quite yet. I want to put all of my pieces down first. Okay, so then this one, put that right there. And my fresh Freesia will go up over here in a little bit. And then put this one here. And then this one will go right over here like so. And then, let's see, then I think that looks good, so I'll press that down. Okay, and then this little floral image here that I stamped and die cut, I'm going to add a few dimensionals to the back of this. Okay, and then this is going to go over here like so. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in, let's see, we'll take a mini dimensional, and actually we'll take two of them, and we'll put one on either side of our butterfly, our larger butterfly that is, and we will place that right over here. And then let me bring in my piercing mat, and we're going to stamp our greeting. So I'm going to stamp this using Pretty Peacock ink. Pretty Peacock. And the stamp that I want is You Are Loved Beyond Measure. Again, this is the red rubber cling stamp set. So I'm going to bring in my block, and since I don't have the labels on this, what I'm going to do when I put this stamp on here, I'm going to visually look at it and kind of line it up where it's straight to the bottom edge of my block. And let's open up our ink. We'll ink this up. And I'll stamp this right in the middle. And again, I'm using the bottom of the edge of the block to kind of line that up. So there's our greeting. Move that out of the way. And then we will take this and we'll add dimensionals to the back. bring in our card. And I will place this right about here. So I'm going to kind of line it up with this side edge so it's straight. And then I'm going to take this little tiny butterfly. I'm going to add a little bit of glue just to the top part of his wing. And I will stick that right here onto the greeting piece. And then I'll take this butterfly. Let's see, which way do we want it to go? So I'm going to kind of fold this a little bit. And I'm going to add some glue right here in the middle. And then I will stick this down like so. Kind of hold it there for a moment. Okay. And let me close up my glue. All right, and now let's bring in our embellishments. I got my take your pick tool, and on this one too I'm going to use one of each of the colors, but this time I'm going to go with all of the larger gems rather than using, you know, both the large and the small. And okay, we want Highland Heather, and then that will go right there. Okay, so there is our second card. Very, very pretty. The purple and that pretty peacock go very well together. So let me bring in the first card that we did. So on this one, I did some of the die cutting using the solid Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape cardstocks to do these more detailed pieces. Should have moved them out a little bit so you can see them a little bit more. And then we did the stamping, making the image like a, well, it's actually 3 tones here because you got 3 different purples in here. So using the sponge dauber to do the Highland Heather, and then the Berry Burst, and then the stamp off Gorgeous Grape for the other stamp that goes right up the, whoops, right up the center of it. Then our greeting is in Berry Burst, so using a lot of the paper and just the colors that are in it as well. So I hope you like the projects that I made using the Perennial Lavender suite of products. Again, the paper, the designer series paper, the Perennial Postage dies, and the purple fine shimmer gems are products that are still available. The painted lavender bundle and the Perennial Postage stamp set and those paper butterfly accents, those are all retired. They are gone. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Totally lost track of my thought here for a moment. So if you like the projects that I had made in this episode, please give the video a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. I do have lots of content out here on this channel. I do Throwback Thursdays, which I bring out that retired product and give it new life, also to give you a little inspiration if you just happen to have it and you want some ideas, you know, to pull it out and play with it again. I also go live on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's where I will use current product, and then tomorrow I will be using the Floral Impressions suite of product. What else do I do? On the first of each month, I also do a monthly Christmas card inspiration. On the first, I did post the video. I use the Jar of Joy stamp set that coordinates with the Jar Punch. Both of those are still available. That just gives you a little bit of inspiration throughout the year if you would like to make your own Christmas cards. And then when this new paper pumpkin comes out in August, when I receive it, I'll be doing another video, a pre-recorded video, creating one of each of the projects that is in the kit. So with that, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. And I will see you next week with another episode of Throwback Thursday. Everyone, have a blessed one. Bye bye.